going to be having, in which we're talking to the higher-up staff members and players of Boise State. I know, I got to inflate your ego just a little bit. You're not the coach, the higher-ups, the powers that be for the program. But just get a sense on everything that's happening with Boise State esports for the fall 2024 semester. And boy, Doc, this is such an exciting semester because there is so much that's new that's coming. And then all of our topics relate to new things that are being brought into the program. The first of which is this new PEC, Power Esports Conference that Boise State is partaking in. Give us the lowdown on that.
So, I mean, we're still participating in all the publisher tournaments. We're participating in the leagues that make sense to us. But one thing that's been missing is a consistent schedule that we can print on our athletics and our fans, that we do play other football schools. We've got a tremendous amount of programs out there that just aren't on the regular person's radar, but are on ours as esports folks. We're trying to add some of the big schools that play football against us on our esports schedule.
And what are some of those big schools that you might be most excited for, just in terms of pure matchup-wise?
Syracuse, which is coming on strong. They're a relatively new program, but they're going to be massive in collegiate esports. Syracuse is one of the big ones. Coach Dr. Joey Gariziak, right, who's heading up that program from Shenandoah. Everybody knows him from Shen, and a lot of the crew from there. Michigan State and Chris Bilski are coming on. Danny O'Connell from Kansas is bringing that crew in. Also, we're going to see Nebraska. We're going to see Oklahoma. We're going to see USC, as in University of Southern California, maybe the biggest college program historically in just about anything. And it's going to be a fantastic group of schools. Nebraska as well. I think I mentioned them, but maybe I forgot.
Now, you kind of caught my ear. Oklahoma, is that the same? Is my memory triggering correctly? Am I getting flashbacks here?
You are getting flashbacks a little bit. There was a famous 2007 match where we had success over Goliath, as they were described, and we were the David at the time. Yeah, it's the same school. Fantastic program. Mike Aguilar heads it up and has for years. Amazing program. We're excited to be able to compete against them more regularly. They do not want to bring that game back.
No. Well, we'll have to see how the overall season actually plays out. Maybe they can get a bit of revenge, or the legend continues.
Well, maybe in this space we're the Goliath, and they'll want to take
that. Is true. Yeah, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. Now, what games can we expect to see throughout the regular season in the PEC?
In the PEC, we're definitely going to do Overwatch 2, Valorant, Rocket League, and Super Smash Ultimate. There may be Street Fighter 6 as well.
Well, that actually transitions very well into the next thing that we were going to talk about, and that is the new games that are being brought to the forefront here at Boise Esports. We'll start off with the one you just mentioned, Street Fighter 6. Tell us what's going on in that space, because
it's going to be great. Well, so Capcom is putting a ton of energy into the release and the promotion of collegiate tournaments in CF6, in the same way that EA is putting a ton of energy into College Football 25, but we'll talk about that in a second. The real benefit is that we get a fighting games title that is beautiful and clean, rated T for teen, not intended to rhyme, but it did, and we get to find the talent that exists on our campus so that we can play against other schools. So we'll do a couple of standout tournaments, both in the Mountain West and in the PEC, to promote a single winner to the CECC National Championship, the May Madness, that's going to take place again in May in Arlington.
Now, tell us just a little bit about the process that you went forward in finding that talent for a completely new game. I mean, new, world's your oyster, open pastures ahead. How did you find that player?
We just throw them in the pit and say, fight it out, right? We just want those folks we want to find out who's competitive and who rises to competition. Believe it or not, one of the people we've known probably better than anybody in this program for a number of years turns out to be an outstanding Street Fighter player, Korek Hotek. Rose to the top, won that tournament. We've got a couple of other folks that are really great fighting games folks that hung on there and are going to get another opportunity. Colin Carpenter local here, and Yada, Sebastian, really good at Guilty Gear, pretty dang good at Street Fighter 2. We're going to promote the three of them into individuals who will compete in these different tournaments.
I just think it's kind of, as someone who's been in the program for as long as I have, just seen the natural throw of the games, it has been, pun half intended, a 1-2 punch of fighting games, of Smash and then Street Fighter being brought in here too, and now all of a sudden we have two games on the fighting front. And of course that brings in, you know, an entirely different community. You know, the fighting game scene, especially Smash Bros, just has such a strong presence in clubs and tournaments. Just tell us a little bit about that and what's been going on locally, and how the esports arena has kind of become a second home to some of these clubs.
Yeah, I mean, for real. Some of them are getting their mail here. Some of them have a change of clothes here. No, the fighting games community is fantastic. Smash community is the best community. That's what they tell me anyway. So it's fun to have them in here for weeklies, certainly, be the host for weeklies, but also to branch out to these other games. Street Fighter 6 and Capcom, it's going to be a great year. National stage for the collegiate championships for those, and we'll see what else comes of it.
Now, the other new game that we're bringing to the forefront, and for those of you who have a good memory of Boise State esports, when it comes to games centered around sports, there is quite a bright spot that we have in our history with a Madden player that took us all the way to the national championships. Have to mention Wasey Williams, of course, who brought us in Madden. It isn't Madden that's returning, but very close, and in fact, probably even bigger given the whole atmosphere around it. College Football 25, the other new game coming to Boise State esports. Tell us about that.
I'll tell you, Jim, CFB 25 is going to be the biggest game. I mean, our athletic director, Jeremiah Dickey, is competing in CFB 25. I believe it's today, and I hope he does well. I texted him some keys to the game. So he can come out on top. I hope that he does. Waiting to hear that. But CFP 25 is unique because, I mean, there are 32 NFL teams and they serve 32 communities, and sometimes those communities stretch. But every community is close to a big college football program. Everybody's represented. And the difference is you may not know who the starters are on your NFL team, but you probably know and sometimes go to class with the starters in your CFB 25 team. So playing as the Broncos, as our football players did the other night, was fantastic. And we had another big tournament last Friday night to crown a $1,000 winner and scholarship, both fall and spring, the player who is going to be our leader, and we got that person.
How are you feeling about this person? You were talking about Korai being in Street Fighter 6. Who can we look forward to seeing in the college football scene?
Well, we're going to ask 3 of those players to stick around. One of them is the winner, but Matthew, a different Colin. We've got many Collins, and a David. All were at the top of that list. We're going to ask them to come back again and battle it out for more things. We've assigned our winner. But we're going to do multiple events on campus where they've got to defend that belt. In fact, I think we should even order some belts. And you win that belt, you got to come back and defend it at the next one.
Yeah, they hold it over their heads. Take this away from me. You know, get that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be massive. We're going to play the other schools in the Mountain West in that as well. And I believe the rules are you got to play as your team.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
We're going to play them the same week as the football game. So we'll play them the Thursday night before the game. We'll try to do that in a cool public place so we can battle it out. Yeah, see how it goes.
I am all for kind of the spirit that's being brought in, because in all the other games we haven't really had a game so far where you are your team. I mean, the most we've had in customization so far is, you know, you can change the color of your cars in Rocket League, and so we try to pick a color that's close to the school color. Here it's like you can play on the blue as Boise State Broncos. And as you were saying, we had the football team over here for a special event. I was just blown away by how that was probably the most packed I've ever seen the arena.
Yeah, I mean, size-wise, well, it may have been a lower number of people, but the you know, the total BMI calculation for the entire play, much bigger.
Yeah. So what do you think, besides kind of the main, besides kind of the culture you were talking about surrounding CFB 25 of everyone having their own home team, are there any other differences we should look forward to in College Football 25 compared to what we saw from Wasey Williams and Madden a few years ago?
I think it's going to be very familiar to what people know. I mean, we know that Rally Cry is going to do a massive national tournament with a bunch of tour stops. They haven't announced it yet, so I hope I'm not breaking anything, but we know it's going to be out there. We expect there to be a huge on-campus swell of interest in playing the game, and that's going to translate, just like it did in Wasey's day, right, with the Level Next tournament, in helping campuses, including ours, find the really talented players.
Well, I can't wait to see it. So much to look forward to. PEC, Street Fighter, and College Football 25. Doc, it's been great having you with us, and hopefully all this excitement gets rewarded in the season. We can see some wins to match the anticipation, because with all this new stuff, this year's feeling like a special year fall-wise.
It's going to be a really good year.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll be back in the future with players, coaches, and more insights into Boise State esports, hopefully to celebrate some victories that the Broncos have achieved. But for now, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the esports season for fall. See you next time.